Hello, and here we are, week 22 of the Marea and Friends concert series, and we are here this evening with our friend and trumpet player, Kenny Chauby. And Kenny is one of our really close friends from the Yale School of Music, where all three of us did our master's degrees. And it is very fitting that we have Kenny this week as we are celebrating the month of love and Valentine's Day, because Kenny truly just spreads love and joy to everyone he comes into contact with, and he is one of a kind, and we are so honored and grateful to have him on this series tonight.
We have so many memories from our time together at Yale, from watching Kenny deliver a fantastic solo at the beginning of Mahler's Fifth Symphony, to sitting in class, and also even just having a night where we tear it up on the dance floor. And so it's just really great to be collaborating during this time. And tonight's theme is the healing process, and we will be discussing a lot of the healing properties of music and how one can really create your own curriculum when you are out of school, and things that we can all be doing to really ground us and keep things creative and fun and inspiring during this difficult time. So we're really excited to have Kenny on here tonight.
Yeah, and before we get started, just a reminder to purchase your $5 virtual ticket, and you can do that at our website, www.mareaduo.com. And your support really means so much to us and all the artists involved. And as you might be able to hear my cat at the moment, I think we're ready to get started with the program.
Yes, let's do this.
Here we are, week 22 of the Marea and Friends concert series, and we are here with our friend and wonderful trumpet player, Kenny Chauby. Yay!
Yeah, and we're all together at Yale for our master's degree, and we have shared so many amazing memories in our time together in New Haven, from playing Mahler 5 together, all in the orchestra, to many nights on the dance floor, and many just, I get chills when I talk about it because it just brings me back, but just to even times when we're just in the hallways and discussing what it's like to be a musician in your 20s. And so it's just really great to be here with you, Kenny.
No, thank you guys so much for having me. I was just telling you guys how honored I am to be a part of the Murray and Friends series. Like 22 weeks, you guys have you've done extraordinary things, and I'm honored to be here.
Oh, well, it's always so sweet whenever I feel like whenever we post something, I always see like Kenny Chauby. If no one else likes our post, I always like it, and it just it makes me so happy though. It really does.
Yeah, for people who are just tuning in, Kenny is the epitome of a great colleague. He is just everything you want in a person that you're going to make music with. That's all I can say.
Yes.
So. Thank you. And we spent an amazing year and a half in New Haven, and I can't wait till we're back in wherever we may be in the world or country to make music and just have a good time again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So can we just start out talking a little bit about your musical background and some of the schools you've gone to and pivotal career moments?
Yeah. So I am originally from a small town just south of Rochester, New York, called Bloomfield, about 30 miles south of the city, and the city being Rochester. I took lessons through the Eastman Community School. It was just I kind of like playing trumpet. And then, it got to senior year. I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? I've had wonderful teachers mentors, throughout my time here. And I was originally thinking, maybe I can do a music ed thing. And then I had a very one of my very close friends. His mother was like, Kenny, you know what? If everything was gonna be over in 5 years, what would you want to do? I'm like, I'd want to play the trumpet. And she's like, well, okay, there you go. There's where you're gonna apply yourself. So, I did, the regular, kind of conservatory and major college university track applying to undergrads. And I ended up going to Manhattan School of Music down in New York City, country boy to New York City. That was a good time. And there I studied with the former principal trumpet of the Metropolitan Opera for 2.5 years, Mark Gould. And then I switched it up and I studied for a year and a half with Ethan Bensdorf, who is the second trumpet of the New York Philharmonic. And then during my time in undergrad, I was, doing all the college stuff. Manhattan School of Music, I always like calling it one of the safest and happiest conservatories. Just the vibe there. It's such a wonderful, wonderful environment for you to grow as an individual and as an artist. So I was really involved with the student affairs work. I did the whole RA, the whole student council president, doing all the things, So I was doing that, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to go get a degree in a higher education administration, become like a dean of students or something. And then I, was applying to different, or this was junior year. And then I applied to the National Orchestral Institute and Festival down at College Park, Maryland. And I had a wonderful summer down there at NOI. It's a month-long festival, and you play different chamber concerts throughout the week, and then 4 large orchestral programs. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this when you're in a school and you're not playing orchestra all the time, and you're like, okay, well, this is fun. But when you get put into that setting where it's like bam, 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 concert, that's where I was like, yeah, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. So senior year, I jumped into the swing of things. People always say senior year of your undergrad doesn't exist because that December 1st pre-screening deadline, it comes fast. So, I again did the whole conservatory pre-screening track, took lessons across the country. I was in between going to the New England Conservatory, and I was still waiting to hear back from Yale University. I was on the wait list there. And in the back of my head, I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be crazy if I just abandoned everything and I moved to Uganda to go work with mountain gorillas? Yeah, I know not a whole lot of people know that, but I thought that would make you guys laugh. So, right. For so I was seriously thinking about that. And then come, grad school deadlines are April 15th. My senior recital was April 13th, is a Friday. And I was sitting in an opera rehearsal because I was subbing for someone the day of my recital, April 13th, Friday the 13th, get an email from Alan Dean, the former teacher at our trumpet teacher at Yale School of Music. And he says, you're in ... I'll talk later. And I'm like, okay. So that's when I was like, oh, I got into Yale, and I was like, whoa. Because, as a graduate student, paying for school is not something that a whole lot of people want to do. That's the honest truth. New England Conservatory is very generous, but they have to be generous with other people. And so, I had to be in that mindset of getting out of opera rehearsal, then preparing myself for my recital. And then, mom and dad come, and I'm like, Mom, okay, I'll help you unload the truck for the reception. Oh, I got into Yale. Let's not talk about it. I have to go do my recital. So, do all that stuff. And then after my recital, we took a road trip up to Connecticut from New York. And that's when I kind of fell in love with Yale University, Yale School of Music. Met you guys, fast forward to summer, then met everyone, fell in love with the school environment, had some wonderful lessons, wonderful chamber coachings, wonderful, like, everything. And then from there, I spent the summer with Amelia at the Aspen Music Festival in school. And then, things just kind of were there, everything was taking off, that summer. And then it was like, life's happening, life's happening. I have 10 auditions scheduled for spring. And then, COVID happened, and it was like, okay, well, Aspen will still take place again in the summer. And it didn't. And I was like, okay, so come fall, those auditions will happen again. And they didn't. So you know what? Now we're here. I'm back home in Bloomfield, New York. Taking advantage of the time off the educational kind of path. I'm really kind of discovering what it is to practice. And some days are better than others, but it's all about being an artist, and things are looking up. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me, where I am today. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
The first piece that we have on the program tonight with Kenny is Poulenc's Trio Sonata for French horn, trumpet, and trombone. And tonight, as you may be thinking, we will not be playing it with the original instrumentation. We will be playing it with bassoon and English horn and trumpet. And this work has 3 lovely movements with really contrasting styles and energy levels. And we have just had such a blast putting it together with Kenny.
Yeah, and thank you, Kenny, for showing us this just really fun trio. And it's been so much fun exploring all the different colors with the double reeds and then the brass instrument. It's something that you don't really hear very often, and we are really excited to put it together.
Yeah, and something that you'll be hearing in the bassoon part are wide intervallic leaps, where a trombonist would be sliding their slide.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to channel my inner trombone in this piece.
Yeah.
And you will see on some of the earlier episodes of Marea and Friends, we performed Poulenc's Trio for oboe, bassoon, and piano with pianist Kadir Abido. And Poulenc is just one of our favorite composers for winds.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoy this trio.
We're all just waiting and trying to be better. And that's like, I feel like you have such a positive attitude about everything. Yeah. So like unstoppable. Like this
I mean, when it comes to it, that's the only thing you can be. Because it could be in so many different ways. Like, so many times this past year I'm honestly feeling sorry for myself and, gloom and doom, which is completely okay to accept. And there was a period when, I set the trumpet down for 3 weeks because with the turmoil of what was going on in the world during this summer, with all the protests, the pandemic, and I was like, okay, who wants to hear Petrushka? Yeah. Who wants to hear pictures at an exhibition? Who wants to hear? I wasn't feeling inspired, and I think that's okay to admit. And just recognize that it's been a very interesting time, and the more I've had time to kind of reflect and build upon what can be next, what can be done next, it's been a wonderful healing process, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like when everything that you've been planning sort of goes away, how much, because I think like this time too, for me, it's like sometimes I realize like I don't think about truly what I'm feeling because I'm so busy all the time. And it's like when everything goes away, it's like hard to think about what you're really feeling, but it's really, I think, like beneficial in the long run for sure. And yeah, I think that's something that,
yeah, definitely.
It's just, yeah, giving us time to think.
Definitely.
What really struck me was the healing process.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that we're all kind of, sometimes it's music that heals us, and sometimes it's a bunch of other things that heals us. We're always, as artists, trying to figure out a way that we can kind of feel whole with ourselves.
Oh, exactly. And, throughout the process of, the past year, it's really also interesting to not be in an educational environment.
Really.
At first it was like, oh, I'm kind of lost. But then I was like, you know what? I don't have to prepare something next week.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost liberating. And it was like, I don't have to prepare for an audition next month.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I can take time and I can play trumpet today. I don't have to play trumpet today. But, at the root of everything, it's like, one of our friends and fellow guests on this series, Ariel Horowitz, she posted something on Facebook talking about, someone asked her if she loves her instrument. Like, if you love violin, it's like, she's like, well, yeah, of course I still love the violin. It's like, of course I still love trumpet. Do I love it every day? No, because it's not possible to love something for 20 years every single day of the year, So it's been a wonderful, wonderful healing process, getting back to fundamentals and just what has really inspired me to play trumpet again, And, there were always those times where it's like, like the early stages of our undergraduate careers is like, oh, I wish I could just redo those couple of years because you're 18, 19, 20 years old. Oh, what do I do with my life? And it's all just part of the process. Of course, there are those wonderful outliers who are like, I'm going to win a job before I graduate, and that's going to be perfect. And yes, those are wonderful people. But for the vast majority, it's like, we need that time to figure things out and to take advantage of the time when we're not in school, and so we can really focus on our craft and the kind of educational institution within ourselves.
Yeah. I always have those thoughts, like what if I would have gone to a conservatory for my undergrad, or what if I was a little less social, or what if, I checked out more scores from the library, like when I was before even going to college. It's just like, what if I was in a youth symphony? You can have this constant dialogue of shoulds, that you like what I should have done or what I should be doing, but ultimately what you have to do is what your path was that you set out to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like way back when we actually when we had Megan Paterno on here, and she was
alumni of MSM.
Yes, and actually Kenny was the one who sort of
introduced.
Like helped me reach. Yeah, it was like a weird path, but yeah. Anyway, and she said it doesn't matter what school you go to, or really, but it just matters like what you really put into it and what you can get out of it, because eventually like fast forward past everyone's schooling days, everyone's going to be in the same situation when they come out of everything. And like you as like looking at yourself and like really getting what you need to get out of like your schooling or your education or whatever, that is like what's going to benefit you in the end, I think.
Whether you're at Zoom University or waiting for the world to start, we're all in the same boat right now.
has music changed your life? And I guess, why do you think that music is relevant to society?
No, right. I mean, gosh, I initially got into music. It's kind of weird. I initially got into music as a competition kind of aspect of it. I think like that fourth grader kind of ego in me was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the first chair playing hot cross buns. Mary had a little lamb, twinkle twinkle little star. One of those things. And it's been such a wonderful, wonderful path, and the family and the family that you can bring with or get with music. Um, it's one of the best things in the entire world is the community it embraces. Amelia, the theater world, that's like its own little crazy little family in its own. And it's a very, it's a family, and it's something that us as artists, we cannot live without. It's so vital to the world, especially right now, because of, its essential healing properties. Like if you're playing on a background track to a rap album, people are consuming that and listening to that, and that's the arts. People listen to music, I think, more times during the day than they do. Than it's always on in the background of people's heads, and it brings people peace. It brings people some sort of connection. It brings people back to a time of, as corny as we want to say, love, and just brings different memories. It does all these crazy things, and it's so wonderful to be a part of the production of music, and to be able to put out music. Part of my, on Spotify for 2020, they said, "Oh, play your 2020 Wrapped." Or it was, yeah, like, what did you listen to the most and everything, and mine was actually Alpine Symphony.
Oh.
And I have very weird memories of listening to that. It was a Berlin Phil recording. One when I was actually, Eleni, actually, I remember this very specific moment when I was done talking to you on the phone when I was driving home.
Yes.
I think we may have been crying a little bit, and I'm just driving through like rural Connecticut and just like listening to like ba da da da. It was just like the wonderful, glorious sounds of that. And then another time, I remember I rode my bike, like 20 some 6 miles or so, and that was just in the background, like da 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 da. I'm just riding my bike. So, you know, as an artist, we can all say that music has inspired us different ways, but I don't come from a musical family by any means. And it's always really wonderful to hear, my mom say, "Oh, I love this song," or "This song reminds me of this," and just know that, yeah, like music does that, and it brings up so many wonderful memories and emotions and feelings.
And I feel like being a part of something bigger than yourself, being a part of a moment where you can be present with people you love around you, is one of the best things that can be ever possible, in my opinion. And that's why I show up to rehearsals, and why I just want to like share and just be a part of a moment with people.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I cannot wait for the first orchestra rehearsal.
I know.
I like after this, like a full orchestra, and just hearing potentially Amelia play an A, and just have everyone just like listen. And after all the healing that we've had to do over this past year, and that we will continue to be doing, when we're all finally together, and it'll just be like such a euphoric moment. It'll be like, wow, community.
Well, our last question is, what have you learned about yourself during this time? And what is something that you make sure to do, I guess, like every day or every week, just to kind of keep you sane, I guess?
Right. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm an avid journaler, I guess, if that's the right word to say, right? Eleni, I remember, in was it hearing class or history class? Just
Yeah.
like looking at your notebook, it's like, we're supposed to be doing something, but it's like, oh, what are you gonna do? Oh, I had to make reads, do all this stuff. School stuff. But this over this past year, it's been very interesting. I've gotten more into it the past month or so. But doing like a weekly what happened this week. Especially, during the past couple months, it's been a very kind of historic moment for everyone, even what's going on in the world and country. But even with just what's going on right now, what's going on musically, I've been just kind of reflecting upon my like music making, my goals. I'm going to say I'm a very routine based person. I know some people are against it for flexibility reasons, but I always like having, what am I going to do during this block? What am I going to do during this block? And then what am I going to do during this block? Try and get 3 practice sessions. That's sometimes happens. But you always hit your fundamentals. You always try and hit some sort of etude work, and you always try and hit some sort of repertoire. So it's been a very interesting kind of learning, just learning that self-discipline and holding myself accountable to these things, because I don't have a teacher to report to every week, or a chamber music coach to report to. I can really learn the most, I think, right now, by doing a lot of that personal kind of reflection, and seeing what areas I can do to grow in. One of my former teachers, Ethan Bensdorf, said, when he left Northwestern, he's like, I'm going to be doing freelancing in Chicago, but he's like, as soon as he left Northwestern, the time that he grew the most was that year after, and he won a job down in Naples, Florida, before going to the Philharmonic. He was like, that year was pivotal in his entire trumpet career as a musician, because that self-reflection, self-growth, self-realization in his practice. I've been trying to do that.
Actually, this year, because of the pandemic, there has been more time than normal to include the self-reflection component into my practice, which I feel like has been really beneficial for playing in general. But like, I feel like the reflecting is so important, especially when you get like further down your path as a musician, because you have to see if your ideas are actually coming across. And like reflecting is just I think like one of the most important things.
Right. And it's also very liberating. It's kind of daunting at first,
Yeah.
but you can record something and then say, and not try and find that validation through a teacher, which, I've loved all of my teachers, but I feel like I was almost trying to rely on them a little too much. Play an excerpt, play an excerpt, play an excerpt, put the trumpet down. And it's like, oh, Kenny, what did you think? Not like, I'm not looking at the teacher saying, oh, give me feedback, give me feedback. It's like, oh, okay, Kenny, I have to figure out what I liked about it, what room, where can I grow from here? It's really kind of wonderful in that way. It's like, oh, I'm kind of free to try things and try different articulations, different phrasing. It's neat.
Yeah.
Actually really funny, like when you said that, like when you say like, oh, play an excerpt, and look back at your teacher. I had a really vivid memory actually to like when I was very young. I was a soccer player. a really competitive soccer player. I played right midfield, so often I was on like the sideline, like right by my coach. And so every time like my thing was assists and crossing the ball. And so every time I would cross the ball, I would immediately look back at my coach to be like, like, wasn't that good? And he said to me, Eleni, you like no longer should you be looking back at me when you do something good or bad. He's like, you need to trust yourself.
Yeah.
And so that moment, I feel like I've tried to like embody that in music and other things too, because I feel like we can't just be like is that good?
And it's been really interesting to see the online community of musicians grow, and see people who are putting I don't know how much this goes on in the double read world, but there are a lot of people who are putting out like an etude a day, an etude a week. On Facebook, there's a group of upwards a couple thousand trumpet players, where it's like weekly challenges, daily challenges, and it's interesting to see the response that other people are having, so we can have that kind of extrinsic validation without looking for that approval, but just another outlet to perform. So it's like no matter what you're doing it for, looking for validation from other people, or if you're looking just to put things out, that's something that's been really interesting as well.
This has been so much
fun, and it's been so good to connect over this time.
Yes.
And I'm gonna journal now, thinking of you.
No, this has been one of the highlight of the year so far. Definitely. And just seeing I think I said in our group message earlier, just seeing the people that you guys have been bringing on this Marea and Friends series was like, ooh, I get to be a part of that. That's so cool.
Yeah, we want community, I feel like that's the one thing that everyone's missing the most.
Yeah.
And that's how this whole thing started, was that we missed our friends and we wanted an outlet to collaborate every week.
Yeah, you're one of our fave friends.
Nearest and dearest.
Art for Valentine's Day.
The last piece on the program tonight is going to be a familiar jazz tune that is very fitting because of Valentine's Day. And this is going to be My Funny Valentine, written by Richard Rodgers, and it's been heard by many people, and probably most famously by Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, and tons of other people. So this is the Marea duo version of My Funny Valentine.
Yeah, and it's been a really great time trying to incorporate double reeds and also Amelia's piano playing skills into this really fun collaboration. And also, Valentine's Day is a time where we're celebrating love, but I think that we've really channeled into this concert series the love for our friends and the love for our audiences and the love for performing. So we're just extremely grateful to be sharing this tune with you tonight, and hope that while you're listening, you can think of some of the memories that you've had over the past year and with people that you love. So
yeah, and a little shout out to Carlene Katz for recommending this song to us. It's a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of fun making this little arrangement.
Love you, Mama.
So, without further ado, here's My Funny Valentine. Smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure
so much, Kenny, for your fantastic performances tonight. It was so much fun collaborating with you, and I was just reminded how much I love the trumpet, and your energy is just so infectious, even over the screen. So
yeah, and it's been so much fun connecting with you again, and we can't wait to see you again in person, hopefully sometime soon. And before we tune out tonight, another little reminder to purchase your optional $5 virtual ticket, and you can do that at our website. And we really appreciate everyone who is watching tonight and everyone who has supported us for the past 22 weeks.
Yeah, we really kind of encompassed this new Marea and Friends lifestyle for these past 22 weeks, where it is seriously our number one priority to be bringing these concerts every Saturday to our audiences and connecting with people. And really just, it's all about this interaction over the screen that we've really found can be extremely powerful and intimate during this time. So thank you so much to everyone for watching, and we're sending all of our love out to you.
Yeah, and next week we will be having pianist Max Foster with us, and we're really excited for that.
A very good friend.
Yes.
To say the least.
Yes. So make sure to tune in next week, same place and same time.
Happy Valentine's Day. Hearts to you.